Okay, now the Florida Rules of Civil Procedure pursuant to Rule 1.170 entitled Counterclaims and Cross-Claims is what I'm using and what I have used in the civil and criminal courthouses and similar in the Orange counties in the state of Florida to then put every charge that the state of Florida put on me on the state of Florida. And then I was able to use every section in the Florida Constitution against the state of Florida in self-defense, and every amendment in the United States Constitution against the state of Florida in self-defense in the federal courthouse in the Middle District of Florida on February 20th in 2018 at 9:20 in the morning. That's when I became King Tommy Chancey Castle Sr. of Four Castles Incorporated, because the King of America failed to show up to court, but all of his court jesters did. See, this is what I'm trying to tell y'all. If you read the United States Declaration of Independence, you will see that the same thing happening to me is the reason why the Declaration of Independence was penned in the first place. That all of the king's people, like when you sued them, you lost in court automatically. See what I'm saying? And the people were saying, well, why are we paying taxes if we're not being represented? See, and that's what I'm saying to the state of Florida. Right now, I got a job and I get taxes taken out of my check, but now I got to go to court on January 27th in 2023 at 8:30 in the morning in the civil courthouse in Orange counties in the state of Florida with no representation. Right? They won't give me a lawyer, but yet they done took my my taxes. So now, if you've taken my taxes, but now you won't give me even a public defender, but on the Casey Anthony case, you said she was indigent and you gave her OJ defense team for killing her own daughter. But now, when it come to me, you won't even let me represent myself because I have done it so well, and you now under the auspice of that you didn't think a black man had that kind of intelligence. See, so now you're dealing with like when they had the Tuskegee Airmen and you were saying black people couldn't fly planes. See, now we know how you think about our minds, because history shows that you don't believe that we're intelligent just because we black. But history then also said that you denied us of the right to read and write. So obviously you was afraid of our minds. See, why would you deny somebody of the use of something that you're not afraid of? Right? If I'm not afraid of your intellectual property, right, then why would I then be afraid to give you the same abilities or opportunities that I got? Because if I'm way more intellectually sound than you, it doesn't matter, because you're gonna make me look like a fool anyway because of your intellectual prowess, right? So now I'm saying, well, if you so smart, why don't you let's go to court, because you see I know how to read and I can apply what I read. So now this is subsection D. Cross claims against the state of Florida. These rules shall not be construed, for which is defined as to understand or explain the sense or intentions of, usually in a particular way or with respect to a given set of circumstances, to enlarge beyond the limits established by law the right to assess counterclaims or to claim credit against the state of Florida or any of its subsections or other government organizations thereof, subject to suit, or against a municipality, corporation, or against any officer, agency, or administrative board of the state. See what I'm saying? See, that's why what I did was I had Governor Rick Scott and all of the lieutenant governors. It cost me about $800 to get the whole board of the state of Florida served by affidavit, so they wouldn't be able to put me in court without these people, without Governor Rick Scott, who now is Senator Rick Scott, now has to come to court and say how you didn't get the affidavit. And then see the people who I paid, see, but that's what they did too. See, they came in my house the Tuesday before Christmas, right? And they put me in a mental hospital, and then they seized all of the evidence against them. They took my computers, They took everything, and now they trying to say that I'm incompetent. See, this is a mental health case. Now, how are you going to charge me with mental health and you done stole my house, my cars? This all in court. And so now, how are you going to then assess my mental capability and not allow me to then use the evidence that I amassed against you in court? See, you saying you gonna use the court system, but you not gonna let me use the evidence that I have compiled against you in the court system. So this is what I'm saying, right? This is a false act as a public official or a tribunal, public employee or utility employee, right? See, this is what I'm saying. Florida Power and Light. See, that's the utility employee, included but not limited to marshals. See, I had a marshal in the federal courthouse that wouldn't let me in the federal courthouse downtown Orlando. He wouldn't let me in the federal courthouse in the Middle District of Florida. See, but I finally got in on February 20th in 2018 at 9:20 in the morning. And then they just refused to hear the case. They just took it out, right? So that's a judge, that's a marshal. Then the prosecuting attorney put me in jail illegally. I was in Seminole County Jail, and the state of Florida had prosecuted me. But I got evidence where I went to the state attorney and put in the criminal intake against the judge that put me in jail. Now, why the state attorney then didn't defend a citizen? But now you saying that I'm not defending the citizens of the state of Florida with the Florida Constitution, the United States Constitution, the Florida Bill of Rights, the United States Bill of Rights, the Declaration of Independence, statutory law, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 in the civil and criminal courthouses in Seminole and Orange counties in the state of Florida on August 12, 2008 at 10:40 in the morning, as well as in the federal courthouse in the Middle District of Florida on February 20th in 2018 at 9:20 in the morning. So now, who is the false act? See, I had to take the law away from the false acts of the false judges. So now, who is the Antichrist, right? So if Jesus was me, then he'll be doing the same thing I'm doing. See, he would have went and got this, and he would have said, okay, pursuant to Florida Rules of Civil Procedure, Statute 843-0855, entitled Criminal Acts Under Color of Law or Through Use of Simulated Legal Process. Then he would have came over and said, B, subsection B, the term person means an individual, public or private group. So that would have been the temple in Jerusalem, just like I'm saying it's Macedonia Missionary Baptist Church in Edenville, Florida. See, if Jesus came back from the grave, just like I came back from court, then Jesus should have been making a case, right, against the high priest Caiaphas, the Pharisees, the chief priests, the high priests, the scribes, the elders, Pontius Pilate. See, he's supposed to be doing what I'm doing. He's supposed to be tracking them down and bringing them to justice for crucifying him. Well, that's what I'm doing. The state of Florida, everybody who has something to do with that, I'm legally tracking them down, sending them affidavits, subpoenas, all legal. Now they are doing it illegal. See, this is it. The term legal process means a document or order issued by a court or filed or recorded for the purpose of exercising jurisdiction. That's what I'm doing. See, I have wrote a document, right? I answered their complaint, and now I'm exercising jurisdiction by using the Florida Constitution, the United States Constitution, the Florida Bill of Rights, the United States Bill of Rights, the United States Declaration of Independence, statutory law, and the Civil Rights Act of 1964 for the purpose of directing a person to appear before a court or tribunal or to perform or restrain from performing a specific act. Now, I'm trying to stop the state of Florida through its elected judges from saying and committing me as incompetent. Now, how can you as a judge say I'm incompetent? Now, if you got one of these psychiatrists that's putting a license on the line here, putting down false doctrine, see, now this is what I'm saying. See, but if you got the state of Florida now using its licensed employees to then undermine justice, that's obstruction by disguise. See, that doctor is not doing what he was mandated and went to school to do. He is now doing what the state want him to do. So if you are a psychiatrist, how can you then hurt the mind and be in accordance with your calling, your purpose? If you are supposed to help heal the mind, why would you be the one lying on the mind? See, so what are you saying about your mind? If you gonna lie on an innocent man, then you are diabolical. And how can you be a therapist or a psychologist and you yourself is undermining your profession? So now where's all of the good psychologists that really trying to help people? Now why don't y'all come to court on January 27th at 8:30 in the morning and undermine this anti-psychiatrist? See, if you got anti-Christ, then you got anti-everything, right? So you got anti-judge, anti-righteousness, anti-intelligent. See, it's always a yin to a yang. So now, where's the true professionals? Where's the true judges? Where's the true presidents? Where's the true congressmen and women? Where are the true Americans at? Because now we are in the crossroads of whether America gonna exist or cease to exist.